Paper 2, variant 1. I want participation from everyone. So in the first question, which gas has the slowest rate of diffusion? Question 1. Slowest rate of diffusion. The masses, hydrogen mass is 1, nitrogen is 14, carbon is 12, and oxygen is 16. Everyone should participate. So question 1D is the right answer, because when you work out the masses, this will be 44, this will be 16, this will be 17, and this will be 2. And if the opposite question was there, in that case, the hydrogen is the lighter one, so it will diffuse faster. The second question, the mixture of colorless amino acids is separated using chromatography. Solvent uses propanol. Chromatogram is sprayed with a locating agent. What is the purpose of propanol and what is the purpose of locating agent? Question 2. Question 2, B is the right answer. Why B is the right answer? What is the purpose of the propanol? It's to make the amino acid, or to move the amino acid up of the chromatogram. Because what happened, if you have a solvent, the solvent will dissolve these amino acids and take these amino acids on the chromatogram. So you place a chromatogram in a solvent and place the amino acid which are colorless, you will not see any spot. But when this chromatogram soak up this propanol, so it will rise, and when it will rise, it will take the amino acids with it. And then you use a locating agent to make this visible. So to move the amino acid up onto the chromatogram, and the purpose of the locating agent to make it visible. Question 3. What could be the answer for question 3? D. Which apparatus can only measure a single fixed volume? A beaker can measure a maximum, it is like 250 cm cube beaker, but it can measure like 200. There will be other marking as well. So that is not an answer. A burette maximum can measure 50, but the other markings are also there like point 0.1, point 0.2, and so on. A measuring cylinder of 100 cm cube means maximum it can measure 100, but the other markings are there. It can be 10, 20, 30, or 1, 2, 3. But for a pipette, it can only measure a fixed volume, which is 25 centimeter. Question 4. What could be the right answer for question 4? In a chromatography experiment shown, which label represent the solvent front? Solvent front means the last point where the solvent rises. So A is representing a solvent front. D is representing, this is origin. B is representing the spot. And C is representing the solvent, not the solvent front.
So isn't the front line?
Baseline, baseline.
Base.
Origin or a baseline. And A is the last point where the solvent rises. That is called a solvent front. The atomic structure of four particles are shown. Which particles have same chemical properties?
D.
Yes, everyone should participate. So how you will work out the same chemical properties? You will work out the same chemical properties from D is the right answer. R and S. Because they ask atomic structure of four particles are there. And the neutron, electron and proton, these are the ions. When you compare the properties, you are comparing the properties of atoms. P, Q, R and S are there. When you check P is an ion, it's a positive. Q is also an ion. What is R? R is an atom. S is also an atom. And actually R and S are the isotopes. They have a same atomic number but different atomic masses. So isotopes have the same chemical properties but different, slightly different masses are there. But whenever two isotopes are there, they have same chemical properties. Question 6. Arrangement of electron in two ions formed element X and Y. Which equation represent the reaction between X and Y? The arrangement of electron in two ions formed from element X and Y are shown. Which equation represent the reaction between element X and Y? Look, first you will identify which kind of elements are these. When you check, ions are given here. This is a proton number 11. Proton number 11 means that it belongs to, because potassium is proton number 11, what will be the electronic configuration? It will be 2, 8,
Sir,
8
it's
and 1.
9.
Yeah,
9.
this is ion, but what I'm saying, the element is having 19 protons, so if it means this element belongs to group 1. And when you check
Yeah.
the other one, so if it belongs to group 1 means element X is a metal.
Yeah.
And proton number 17 means these are ions, but I'm saying about elements, their element. Proton number 17 means this will be 2, 8 and 7. So 2, 8 and 7, it means it belongs to group 7. So if it belongs to group 7, it will be a non-metal. And how non-metal exists? So non-metal exists as in
Diatomic.
elements with diatomic. So means Y should be 2 and X should be only atom because it's a metal. And when they react with each other, they will form a compound. Now what will be the formula of a compound which they will react to form? Because valency of X is +1 and valency of Y is
Minus.
-1. So the compound which they will form X and Y. This is the compound they will form. But the equation must be balanced because we need a equation. So if 2Y are there, I will put 2. And here also I will put 2. So it means when 2x reacted with y2 gives 2xy. So which equation is representing 2x reacted with y2? So either C can be answered or D can be answered. Then the charges on these elements, because X is a metal, so it should be a positive charge and Y is a non-metal, so it should be a negative charge. That's why C is a right answer. And you can work out the charge on these ions. This is +1 charge and this one is -1 charge. Question 7. Which diagram shows the outer shell electron arrangement in a molecule of methanol? Carbon belongs to group 4, so it will share 4. Hydrogen having 1 electron, so it will share that one. Oxygen belongs to group 6, so it will share 2 and unshared will be 4. Which is a correct diagram for structure of methanol, including the shared and unshared electrons? 7.
A, sir. A.
So A is the right answer. Carbon sharing all, hydrogen share all, and oxygen should have 2 unshared. Why this one is wrong? Because oxygen does not have unshared one. Why this one is wrong? Because there's a double bond between carbon, like sharing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are there in oxygen. And why this one is wrong? Because only one electron they draw. There should be a pair of electron between the two atoms. So A is the right answer. Question 8. Which statement about silicon dioxide is correct? Silicon dioxide means sand, silicon 4 oxide. Which statement is correct? You have to go through or know the properties. So question 8.
Sir, it's non-metal. Non-metal, so it's covalent
But
molecule.
it's a giant covalent, silicon 4 oxide.
probably.
You should go through the structures: diamond, silicon dioxide, graphite. Which one is the right answer? Silicon oxide is a sand also. It is a giant covalent
So
structure.
it's D. It's like graphite.
No, it's not like graphite, it's like diamond. Its structure is tetrahedral. Graphite is hexagonal. This is a structure similar to that of diamond in which each carbon forms four covalent bonds. So it conducts electricity, does not conduct electricity because there is no
I
free
understand.
electron. It is a simple covalent molecule, that's wrong. It is a simple similar structure as graphite. Graphite is hexagonal like a ring. It is similar structure like diamond, tetrahedral. This is graphite. It's not like graphite, it's like diamond. So B is the right answer. It's a macromolecule or a large molecule with four oxygen atoms bonded to each silicon. So B is the right answer for this. Question 9.
Sir, but dioxide means it only has two oxygen.
Which one? The previous question.
Yeah, silicon dioxide.
In a, if you remember the bonding and structure, when we draw the silicon oxide, actually why we write SiO2, even that is showing a simplest ratio of silicon and oxygen present in the structure. The ratio between silicon and oxygen is 1 is to 4. That's why 1 is to 2. That is why we write a formula SiO2, and with reference to this formula we call silicon dioxide. But in practical it has millions of silicon and oxygen atom in a ratio of 1 is to 2.
Okay.
Question 9. Rubidium is in group 1 and bromine is in group 7. Rubidium react with bromine to form an ionic compound. Which row shows the electron change take place in rubidium? And correct for, because rubidium is group 1, so group 1 metal tend to lose one electron from their outer shell, so Rb plus 1 will be there. C is the right answer. Question 10. Which statement explain why graphite is used as a lubricant? This is again related to structure and bonding.
D.
Because the layers in the structure can weak force between the layers which can slide over each other. All bonds, not all bonds are weaker. It conduct electricity, that's true, but that is not the reason for it to be used as a lubricant. It has
Sir,
a
but
low melting point. Yes,
the structure can slide over each other in metallic bonding, I think.
not metallic. It's about graphite. Graphite is an allotrope of a carbon in which each carbon form covalent bond, not a metallic bond.
Okay.
Layer structure, better go through the structure part so you can recall this idea, because a lot of things in chemistry it's about memorization. You have to, understanding is there but you have to learn, and ultimately you have to learn the things. Sodium carbonate react with sulfuric acid to form carbon dioxide, water and sodium salt. An incomplete equation is there. What is the formula of the sodium salt which is produced? When sodium carbonate react with sulfuric acid, give carbon dioxide, water and the salt will be Question 11. So sodium sulfate salt will be there, and how to work out the formula of sodium sulfate. Sodium belongs to group 1, so it is +1, and sulfate molecular ion which is charge -2, so when you cross multiply it will be Na2SO4. The relative atomic mass of a chlorine is 35.5. When calculating a relative atomic mass, which particle is the mass of a chlorine atom compared to? Basically, this is related to definition of relative atomic mass. So the definition state relative atomic mass is a mass of an element which is compared with carbon 12. Question 13. What is empirical formula of an oxide of iron formed by reacting 2.24 grams of iron with 0.96 gram of oxygen? So you need an empirical formula. To get an empirical formula, what we do, like we have iron, you can have mass can be given, percentage can be given. You will use the same method even if there was a percentage. So iron is 2.24 and oxygen is 0.96. You divide by atomic mass, so iron is 56, oxygen is 16. What is the answer? 2.24 divided by 56. No, I'm not asking the final answer. 2.24 divided by 56. Answer for this. 2.33. Or it's 2.24 divided by 56. So it is 0.04. What about oxygen? 0.96 divided by 16.
0.06.
0.06. Then the second step, divide by smallest value, which is the smallest value. 0.04 is the smallest value. So we'll divide both by 0.04. So this will be 1, and 0.06 divided by 0.04, that is 1.5. 0.06 divided by 0.04. So now one of the value is 1 and another one is 1.5. So whenever 0.5 is there, 1 and 1.5, like one of the value, so what you will do, you'll multiply all of them by 2. So this will become 2 and this will turn into 3. So the correct answer, it contains 2 iron and it contains 3 oxygen. So what's the right answer for question 13? That will be C. Which reaction take place at cathode during electrolysis of molten nickel chloride? We have a nickel which is +2 and chloride molten. Which reaction take place for question 14?
D, sir, D.
Nickel ions move towards cathode, gain electron and change to nickel atom. Question 15. Sodium nitrate is added to water in a beaker and stirred until it dissolves. At the end of experiment, the beaker feels cold. Which row describe this reaction? A temperature
D.
decreases. For question 15. So example, you have a container and the reaction take place inside the container. Originally it was example 15, now it become 13. The temperature decreases. If a temperature of the container decreases, means the particles which are inside the container, the reactant particle, take energy. So what happened to temperature of the solution? That is decreasing, and the type of the reaction is endothermic, not exothermic. If it was an exothermic, the beaker should feel warmer. Because it's an endothermic reaction, so what it shows? It shows that it is taking energy. The particles are taking energy from surrounding. And what is surrounding for them? The surrounding is the water, because sodium nitrate is there, it is dissolved. So sodium nitrate is absorbing energy from the water molecules, so
Sure, but
that
if they gain energy, then they must be warm.
you determine the temperature of the substance, not the temperature of the particles. Because what happened? A thermometer, example, if I place a thermometer here, so when sodium nitrate is dissolving, so sodium ions in sodium nitrate, these sodium ions and nitrate ions are absorbing energy from the water molecules. So for them, water is a surrounding. It's a dissolving. What happened in dissolving? A solid dissociate into ion. So from where they get energy, this sodium ion and nitrate ion, to move away from each other, they are taking energy from the water molecule. So as they are taking energy from the water molecule, what happened to the temperature of the surrounding or temperature of the
Yeah,
water?
decrease. Yes.
Decreases. And that's why the reaction is endothermic. If the surrounding temperature decrease, it and do surrounding temperature refers to the temperature other than the reactant particle. Anything which is other than the reactant particle is called a surrounding. Question 16. Which substance does not require oxygen to produce energy?
D. Nuclear energy.
So which substance does not require oxygen in order to produce coal is burned and it produces carbon dioxide. Hydrogen is burned in a fuel cell combustion reaction, produce water. Natural gas or a methane burned produce carbon dioxide and water vapor. But uranium, a heavy nucleus, split into lighter by the help of a neutron. Then ethene react with hydrogen to ethene reacts with hydrogen to form ethane. The bond energies are shown. What is the energy change for the reaction? So what you have to do, you have to find a bond breaking energy and then bond forming energy. So you have to calculate this. So what's the right answer after calculation? Calculate this. 17. So when you calculate the bond breaking and bond forming, you will find negative 120, or B is the right answer. In question 18, a sign displayed in a flour mill is shown. Which statement explains why there is a danger of explosion in a flour mill? So the right answer for 18 is A, because it burned very quickly because of fine powder. Question 19. A student investigates the effect of concentration on the rate of reaction between calcium carbonate and hydrochloric acid. He follows the method. Which essential step has been left out of the method if he is to work out the rate of the reaction?
C.
Yeah, to measure the rate of the reaction, you should know the timing, because without rate, you cannot determine without a time. It should be with respect to time. Question 20. The reaction between sulfur dioxide and oxygen is shown. The reaction is exothermic. Which of these, which of the changes shift the position of equilibrium towards right? Means we'll get more sulfur trioxide. The forward reaction is exothermic. Exothermic means reactants have,
Increase the pressure and decrease the temperature.
so reactants have high energy and the product is having low energy. So if you, what change you should do so that you will get greater amount of sulfur trioxide? So 1 and 2 will get more sulfur dioxide, but increasing a temperature will shift equilibrium backward. So that will reduce. So for this, correct answer is B, 1 and 2. If you increase amount of oxygen, if you add more oxygen, equilibrium will shift towards right. So these are the 20 questions from October, November 2020. Paper 2, variant 1. Remaining we'll discuss next session.